Now, recently, I was in on a discussion with someone from that actually works with one of the credit bureaus, and they said that FICO may drop your credit score either 5 or 10 points per inquiry. Now, that's a big deal. If you were to get penalized 10 points for every inquiry, and you have 5 inquiries on your credit report, say within a couple of weeks because you went out and you apply each and everywhere you went, then that's 50 points that comes off your credit report. 50 points will take you out of one category to the next category for a lot of people. So you might go from having fair credit down to having bad credit. So you don't want to do that, or poor credit. So you don't want to inquire. You don't want to apply for credit needlessly. So tip number 5. Let's get to this. Talk to a professional. Do that. If you need professional help, then talk to a professional. Of course, you can listen to the 800 Credit Score Man show. You can read articles. You can do all of those things. But if you definitely need professional help, and you and only you know if you need professional help to help you clear up your credit, then you need to talk to a professional. I would suggest that you contact me, the 800 Credit Score Man, at 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. Drop me an email there, or follow me on one of those platforms and send me a message, and I will absolutely get to you, and we can have a conversation about helping you increase your credit score. If you're in the mood to buy a home and you want to see what your credit is looking like, again, contact me, 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. All right, so then let's get to, I'm going to save dispute number 6. I'm going to save that one, number 6, the 8 ways. I'm going to save that one until after we go to the question of the day. So we're going to do question of the day, and right before that, I'm going to give another shout out. I want to shout out Chelsea Winnington. Happy birthday to you. She celebrated a birthday just a couple of days ago, so happy birthday to you, Chelsea. I've known her my entire life as well, so big happy birthday to you as well. And I got to shout out Alexis Bryant celebrating a 16th birthday. Man, do you guys remember when you were 16? So she celebrated a 16th birthday, so happy birthday to you, Lexi. Happy birthday. All right, so let's get to the question of the day. Question of the day comes from Keith. And Keith asked about, well, before I do that, now I got to go back and I got to tell you that the question of the day, of course, is sponsored by Cute as a Cupcake, the cupcakery and bake shop where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. It's located at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. If you are in Maryville area at all, you're in Northwest Indiana, you have got to get by Cute as a Cupcake and tell them that the 800 Credit Score Man sent you. All right, so the question of the day comes from Keith. And Keith was asking about charge off. And actually, this question came up a couple of times this week. So that's why I picked this, or I chose this question to bring to you today. So Keith asked about charge off. So what happens if you have an account that's charged off and is still on your credit report? Here's what happens. So let's say you have a credit card with ABC Credit Card Company and you didn't pay them, account went bad, and eventually your account was charged off. Now, what does charged off means? What it means is that you didn't pay, and now the company, ABC Credit Company, has decided that they're not going to be collecting on you anymore, and they're going to take that loss themselves. So if you owe them $900, now they've decided that they're going to take that loss. They're going to do what they need to do with the IRS, and they're going to put it down as a bad debt and a loss and all those things. So basically, in the grand scheme of things, I guess they recoup their money because they're able to take that off. But that does not mean that you still don't owe that particular account. Now, typically, when it comes to charge-off, you can't deal with ABC Company anymore. And probably what has happened is that some collection agency has come to them, and they probably have a contract with someone, or regular basis they come to them and they say, all right, this particular person owes you $900. Maybe they bumped it up to $1,000 because you had some late fees and some other fees that go with it. So let's say you owe them $1,000. So this particular collection company, XYZ Collection Company, comes to them and they pay them pennies on the dollar. I don't even believe that it's 10%. So, but let's use that it's actually 10%. So this particular collection company comes to them. It's $1,000 debt. They say, all right, we're not going to pay you $1,000 for it. Of course, we don't make any money. So we'll give you 10% of what that is. So if they give them $100, now that particular company, XYZ, owns, if you will, I'm putting up air quotes, they own that particular account, and they'll start to collect on you. So that's what they're going to do. They'll start to collect on you. They have a certain time frame to do so. So you're going to have it on your credit report for 7 years, maybe 7 years plus 180 days. But you're going to have it on your credit report. However, some states say that you can only collect a debt for so long. So you need to check with your particular state and see. I'm sure a quick Google search will help you out with that and see how long you can be collected on. So Illinois may be different than Indiana. California may be different than Arizona. So check and see what it's going to be like for your particular state. Could be a shorter period of time. Could only be 5 years. Could be 4 years. Or maybe it could be 10 years that somebody can collect a debt on you. But check and see about that. All right, so then what happens is you have that collection on your credit report. Getting the charge-off removed from your credit report may be difficult because you can only typically or legally, you can only remove things that are inaccurate on your credit report. So it is accurate technically. It's accurate. It was yours. It did go bad. It is a charge-off. But then you'll have this collection on your credit report as well. And so you'll have to deal with XYZ collection agency. That's what you'll have to do to get this removed from your credit report. Of course, I always say negotiate. Negotiate. Be strategic about when you negotiate and when you're going to pay them. And you want to ask them to delete it as well. Sometimes it's called pay for delete. But that's what you want to do. You want to make sure to get that off of your credit report. So yes, technically, it still stays on your credit report if you have a charge-off. So thanks a lot, Keith. I appreciate you contacting me. I believe Keith inboxed me, or we talked about it in the group on Facebook, which is the Credit Score Comeback. So join that group, Credit Score Comeback. On Facebook, Credit Score Comeback. Join that group so you can get in on all of the discussion that goes on throughout the week about your credit. All right, so again, thank you so very much, Keith. You are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. Thank you so much. And if you have questions, contact me at 800 creditscoreman@gmail.com. Contact me there. That's where this segment of the show comes from. It comes from you, the listeners, and it's only as good as you are in your questions. So thank you very much, Keith. And again, sponsored by Cute as a Cupcake, the Cupcakery and Bake Shop, located at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana, where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. All right, so let me throw out yet another happy birthday. I got to give a happy birthday shout out to Dr. Andre Horton, DDS, located right there in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Andre Horton celebrated a birthday earlier in the week, so happy birthday you to Dr. Andre Horton, DDS. Happy birthday. And I got to give a shout out. Birthday was yesterday to Bryant Denson. Happy birthday to you, my brother, as well. All right, so let's get on with the rest of the show. So I stuck at number 6. Number 6, so we talked about number 1, get your credit report. Number 2, pay your bills on time. Number 3, reduce that debt down to 30%. Number 4, don't apply for too many things or don't apply for credit needlessly. Number 5, talk to a professional. Of course, contact me. Don't insult me by going to somebody else and listen to the radio and calling that 800 number. You contact me, 800 creditscoreman@gmail.com. And so let's get to number 6. Dispute real errors. Kind of just spoke about that a little bit with the question of the day. So dispute real errors. So if you have an error on your credit report, then you need to go ahead and dispute it. And a little bit, we're going to talk about the 609 letters really quickly, and that's about that as well. So dispute real errors. If you have an error on your credit report, dispute it and see if it'll come off of your credit report. The credit reporting agencies, if you dispute it online, have 30 days to get back to you with their investigation completed. If you mail it, they have 35 days. All right, so then number 7, give it time. Most likely you didn't get into this mess overnight, whatever credit mess you might have. So you've got to give it some time, and you've got to be diligent about staying on time with all your payments and keeping up with everything as well. Because you don't want to get an increase by 40 points and then miss a couple of payments, and then now you're back down and maybe worse than you were before. So give it a little time for your credit to improve. Could take 6 months, could take 9 months, could take up to a year or more, depending on where you are. So give it a little time to improve your credit score. And then the last thing that they mentioned was to know your numbers. You have 3 different credit scores and 3 different credit bureaus. So you got TransUnion, you have Equifax, you have Experian. They're typically all going to have different scores. And even within all of those, when you talk about FICO, FICO is the agency that kind of put all this thing together, and they have so many different buckets of scores. So if you go to a mortgage lender, you may have 1 score, even though they pull all 3. If you go get a car, you may have a totally different score. If you're going to apply for a credit card, you may have a totally different score. So there are a lot of different scores in there, a lot of different buckets, if you will. So you got to know your numbers, and it's very good to know your numbers so you know where you are. Knowledge is key, so you've got to have the knowledge about what your scores are, and so then you know what your power is as well. So you know when you walk on that car lot that you are in a strong position to negotiate because you have a good credit score or what have you. So make sure that you know your numbers. That was it. All right, so let's get to this 609 letter. So 609 letters are not necessarily new. They may be a well-kept secret. Not a lot of people use them necessarily. Use them. Some people should, some people shouldn't. So if you look at 609 letters, though, well, 609 refers to a particular provision in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It's a particular provision in there. So 609 is one of those sections. And in that section, if you actually read it, and you can Google this, I suggest that you do before you start sending out these 609 letters. I suggest that you do. But if you look at that particular section, it typically talks about fraud more often than anything else. It doesn't necessarily talk about a person that this is your account, your credit's never been stolen and all that stuff. It really talks about if you have been a victim of fraud for the most part. But within all of that reading, if you go down to get down to the bare bones about it, it also talks about what you can do when you have things on your credit that you don't agree with, or your account has been sold from one place to the other place. It talks a lot about what you can do and what your remedy is. So within the 609 provision, and actually if you look it up, I found it under section 611. Actually, if you look it up, it's where they require each and every place to actually provide documentation that says this is your account. So when you file a dispute and you file it through Equifax or TransUnion or Experian, they go to the creditor and they say, hey, this person has filed a dispute. They say something's inaccurate or it's not their account or what have you. We need you to prove to us that it is. So then they have to give us some information, and that's how the investigation goes. And then, in 30 days, you should have an answer. So what this particular provision talks about is just that. But it asks them or demands them to go even further. So not only do they have to say, yes, it's theirs, and, send somebody a copy of the documentation, they have to give you, the consumer, as well as the credit bureau, information that is actually yours. They need to have some information in their hands. So they need to have the actual original documentation. Now, this is where a lot of people really get off the hook with some of their collections and whatnot, because those collection agencies don't necessarily have the documentation in hand. If you remember the housing crisis that went on in 2007, 8, and maybe even part of 9, a lot of people lost their homes, and a lot of people were able to get out of situations because the collection agencies and maybe even the mortgage company that sold their account from one place to another didn't have the actual paperwork, the paperwork that you actually signed when you were obtaining a loan. So this puts the onus on them, on the collection agency or on the creditor, to actually provide documentation for you. So you can send a letter that is entitled the 609 letter, basically saying